Hello, everybody. Scott Golden with the World Class Championship Wrestling Review Series. September 10th, 1988 is the episode on tap here. Jimmy Jack Funk and Steve Simpson opens the program. Steve Simpson, a guy who really has been a mainstay in the last couple of years in the area. Jimmy Jack Funk, predominantly from Portland, also had some WWF experience at this point. Really basic stuff, arm locks and that sort of thing by Simpson to start, brawling forearms and the like by Funk in the early stages, crossbody by Simpson. Simpson with a dropkick under the chin as well. I wouldn't say bad bumping, but kind of lazy bumping a little bit by Funk, and it takes guts, gumption, whatever you want to call it, to use the Funk name in Texas and not be an actual Funk. To me, yeah, I would have reinvented myself after the WWF push for that name. I understand that coming off WWF TV, you don't want to waste exposure, but at the same time, I would have renamed myself. Anyway, Funk heads to the outside and, kind of breaks the momentum a little bit. Simpson comes back in, hits a series of moves. The attempted pin while holding the ropes by Funk in an armbar is also a thing. Simpson holds the armbar for a good few minutes, and they actually get nearly 10 minutes out of this match. Block of the suplex a couple of times, and a takeover there. Then we obviously move to Simpson trying to gain a victory, and Funk says he's the winner. Referee actually calls for a time limit draw here. Michael P.S. Hayes addresses Buddy Roberts again. Hayes basically saying he wants to settle things up between the two on a more permanent basis. He says it doesn't matter. He'll fight anybody. He wants to put an end also to the SST. He says he'll kick them in their SST. Not quite sure what that means, but anyway. Then we've got Fatu of the Samoans against Steve Cox in a singles match. Interesting that they try to move Cox to a singles match. By the end, he is here primarily by himself, so certainly needed to be done at some point anyway. But Cox still probably not ready to be a singles guy in this era of an established promotion. Needs a little more independent work. But Fatu bumps all over the place for him, backdrops and the like, and then we see strikes by Fatu, strikes, chokes, and the like. Really basic match, although good. The intensity of Fatu, even here, years before getting full national exposure, is really well done, and I think one of the things that can be learned from the Anoa'i family is credibility and intensity from the beginning. There is a kick under the chin that's phenomenally done, also by Fatu, and it does help. The intensity from Fatu helps Cox look credible by default. Top rope splash by Fatu missed, and Steve Cox manages to get somewhat back to his feet, or attempts to get back to his feet, and then that is a bigger thing. So, I mean, nothing gets settled between the two. Obviously, Cox still wants to go even though the match is completed. And then we move to Iceman King Parsons versus Matt Bourne. Not quite sure why Bourne is here in this particular iteration of World Class, in the sense that, the fact that he hasn't found a more stable promotion to be part of at this point kind of strikes me as odd, being a second-generation guy, less than 4 years after WrestleMania. And I know I put emphasis on accomplishments differently than territories would have. Basically, in the territory days, if something is, 6 months to a year later, its impact is gone. I've always felt differently about that. But anyway, Skandor Akbar still out there with Iceman Parsons. Parsons does a lot of stalling, tries to get Bourne to shake his hand. Obviously, that doesn't go according to plan. Bourne does do a little more brawling with Parsons. Parsons does a lot of begging off, a lot of backing up, and then, match goes pretty basic, headlocks and the like. Some attempted low blows and cheap shots by Parsons. Parsons continuing to go to the outside. He does kind of stall wherever he can, gets a cheating victory, and Matt Bourne obviously not happy with that. And then we move to Super Black Ninja versus Dan Fowler. Again, the Ninja, I think, would have been, I don't know that a major guy in the area would be fair, but at least a guy who could have maybe popped the territory had they been around a bit further. Literally, this match, though, goes maybe 2-3 minutes, if that. Ninja with a kick right from the beginning, and gets a pin off. That single kick actually goes less than a minute. Buddy Roberts again goes off on Michael Hayes, talking about they need to settle their situation. 6-man tag team match here. The Simpsons part of that. And, I mean, that's kind of your deal. John Tatum out there with Jack Victory, and the Simpsons and Terry Gordy out there with that. And, I mean, again, you don't want to waste a guy like Gordy. And to me, these 6-man matches, especially when you have, the need for major challenges, I don't know, it strikes me as odd. All 6 guys in the ring. Match is pretty well chaos the majority of it. Tatum in victory. Obviously, still squared off with the Simpsons. I don't know, because they start promoting in a couple of weeks here, maybe even less than that, the AWA pay-per-view. I don't know that the Simpsons and Victory and Tatum are part of that, but I really feel like if they weren't, they should have been. It's been a while since I've seen the Super Class 3 show. I'm sure it's available on the network somewhere. I might go searching for that at some point, although AWA footage is to a minimum, which it makes me hesitate from covering them just because I haven't found a good enough surplus of AWA to give it its own section here. But anyway, Irish whips and Gordy with Jimmy Jack Funk in there, and kind of, nothing really gets settled. The match itself is a poor main event. It's just there for the sake of being there. Gordy gets a partial submission victory. We actually do see a Scorpion Deathlock type maneuver. Choke out all the way around everybody, and match goes into a complete breakdown of a brawl. Chairs are used on the outside of the ring. Anyway, John Tatum hits his own partner with a top rope miscue. The fans, though, seem to be into it, so they still have a very loyal fan base, even in the dying days of the Sportatorium, which is surprising to me a little bit. But anyway, that's the close of this particular show, and we'll be back with more right after this.